physical, it's assault. Now, I am not here to test the waters. I'm not here. I don't want to be assaulted today. I don't want to be touched. I don't want any of these gentlemen to be in a position where they have to touch me. I don't want to be arrested. Lady, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. I don't want any of that. I just wanted to do what the law says I'm allowed to do. So, I'm going to ask nicely. Gentlemen, ladies, may I please go over there and just serve this document?
You've been given the instructions, sir, on how to serve the document.
Okay, this is not legal. What this
I'm
gentleman
not
is
here to argue with you what's legal and what's not legal. You can serve the document, you understand. You've read it to everybody.
Well, I've read it, we understand it, but we also understand that it's completely unconstitutional. I've acquired the appropriate legal advice. I have acquired the legal advice on this. All right, officers, would anybody here then take service of these documents on behalf of the Premier? Would any of the gentlemen in that truck over there, I assume that they work directly for him. Will anybody here?
Nobody's taking service.
No one's going to take service. If I am to walk on this street to try to serve, what happens? I will be arrested. On what charge? What's the charge, sir? I just need to know what the charge is going to be.
Yeah.
You'll be arrested.
Do you know what the charge is? Like, it's a pretty simple question.
What's the charge?
Can you repeat your oath? You'll be arrested for common use.
Common use. That seems to be the go-to these days.
Yeah,
right, with
that
everybody.
is the go-to. Why would I be charged for common nuisance? Is the public safety in danger right now? Right?
It is. You're gathering a bunch of people, and it's against the...
Well, actually, I'm not gathering anybody. These are all process service who have been hired. They're all process service. All of them sent me an invoice.
You've also been told on how to serve it, and you're not serving it this way, so they're not summon servers right now.
All right, so you hear that, everyone? The Toronto police are actually breaking the law, unfortunately. I don't blame this man. He has his orders, but the law is now being broken. We are seeing that. Oh, there's a good. Would that be okay? Oh no, it's not an argument. Actually,
An argument.
Oh,
Simply,
here comes the
a
snow.
sworn to protect.
All right, so. All right, guys, it's so much easier if I just walked over there. I could, if you don't mind. I mean, I could just drop it in the mailbox.
Mr. Johnston, you're not coming on the street.
Okay. What was the actual instruction you
You
received?
know how you weren't coming on the street.
Actually, I didn't know that.
Now you've been told.
No, I did not know that I wasn't coming on the street, guys.
You've been told.
I was
You know how to serve the Premier?
I was sent
You can
this.
go about doing it.
Okay, but I'd
I'm
like
not going to argue with you any further. You're not coming on the street.
How about you say on behalf of Doug Ford, not the Premier. This lawsuit is not
How's it
against
going?
the government. This lawsuit is not against the political party. It's against Doug Ford, the man. Kevin J.Johnston, the man. Not the person, but the man.
The officer should be assisting us.
What you're doing right now is unlawful.
I interest you, sir, in taking service.
I will not take service. You've already been given
Ma'am?
instruction on what to do.
Did you take service? Sir, did you take service? No? Okay. Did you take service? How about yourself? Did you take service? Could those two gentlemen down there take service? All right. Would it be okay if we went to the other side of the street and came down that way? I could barricade both sides.
What if we cut through a backyard?
That's trespassing. We are not going to break the law in any way.
No, only the police can break the law. They don't know about the Charter of Rights and Freedoms or any other laws. They just do whatever they want. This is a police state now. We live in martial law. This is what we have now.
Well, we have a Premier, everybody. If you like, what I could do is I could take the lawsuit out and read a couple passages of this so that we understand exactly why it is Doug Ford does not want this document served. But it's too late because 4,000 copies as of this morning were downloaded.
Yeah.
I told you all that's not enough. We need 1 million
Well, we can
people
mail
to
it,
see
registered
what's
mail,
in
it's
this
a
lawsuit.
regular mail. We can send
Yeah.
it by courier. We can send it all different ways.
So
If
what
you
we
want
could
to
do-
stop it, we can send it to his government office. We can email it to him. We can send it every which way so he can't say that he wasn't served. And this is proof that you refuse to allow it to be served. And shame on you for breaking the law yourselves. Are you above the law?
Well, Doug Ford believes that he is above the law. The problem is, in our current parliamentary system, is that there are no checks and balances for what Doug Ford is doing, and also no checks and balances for what Justin Trudeau is doing. If you guys ever watched the interview that took place between Paul Martin and the CBC, and Jean Chrétien, also, both of them as former prime ministers, explained that in our current system, the prime minister of the country can walk up to a room of children, shoot them in the head while broadcasting live on Instagram or Facebook or VK, and not do a single day in jail. That is the unfortunate part of the way our system is structured. Now, Doug Ford, because the province of Ontario is an independent nation, Canada's an administrative body for 10 independent countries. So Doug Ford is the Prime Minister of Ontario, and it has the exact same parliamentary system with a couple of different decorations on the wall as does the federal government. Meaning that Doug Ford could walk up to me right now and put a bullet in my head and not do a single solitary day in jail. Now that has to change, everybody.
That's mob.
And that is why Doug Ford does not want people like me and everybody here to have a voice. This is why Justin Trudeau bribed all the media in our country with over $680 million.
Yeah, but the farmers could have a protest and stuff like that.
Lies and anti-Christian, anti-Hindu, anti-Buddhist rhetoric would be allowed on the airwaves, but all pro-pedophilia and pro-terror rhetoric would be allowed. Not only allowed, but encouraged. And that is what is in this lawsuit. I explained very clearly what the left-wing media is doing. I also explained very clearly that there are currently 2 terrorist groups in this province funded by OPSU. That would be Antifa, and that would also be Black Lives Matter. Antifa is a group that was formed in 1938. OPSU is the union that's the union for the province of Ontario. If you work for the province of Ontario in any capacity, OPSU would be who you pay your union dues to, and apparently who will protect you should you be fired.
Teachers, police officers, right?
Teachers,
I think we should get all your IDs so we can sue the police
right.
department for obstruction of justice. I think
Antifa,
you all give us your cards.
Antifa was formed in 1938 under the Stalinist Party. What they were designed to do was to assault people like us, the common working man, the common working woman. They used propaganda, they used violence, and they used murder to get the party into power. Well, after the KDP failed as a party, they had to go underground. They're back. They are rampant in Ontario. They are funded by OPSU. My evidence to this, 2017, Pamela Geller comes to Toronto to explain her side of the story, that the media would not let her explain it all. She's going to do so at Charles McVitie's Canada Christian College. When she shows up, Toronto police were there to protect us. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. But when Antifa showed up to protest, they brought members of OPSU. Yeah, that's right. Middle-aged guys that look like me. They all showed up with signs demanding that I not be allowed to speak, that I go to prison for having conservative opinions, that Pamela Geller be banned from the country forever because she has conservative opinions. And what was on those signs, everybody? The OPSU logo. Why? Why would a tax-funded provincial union associate itself with Antifa? Well, because they have Antifa members within it. Because the ideology of the left is what the government wants to implement on the entire province of Ontario. Not all of us subscribe to that.
No.
I've told you, you know what? Let's do this, everybody, because you're all here. You all want to see what's happening. Let me tell you what the ideology is of the current left-wing government. I couldn't even read this last night without breaking down in tears on my show. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
This is not the country I grew up in.
they want to bring communism here.
They already have communism here, but let's
from this country, and we don't want it here in Canada.
For those who have tuned in late, my name is Kevin J.Johnston. I hold the title currently of Calgary Mayor-elect. I will be leaving this province shortly to complete my campaign there and take Naheed Nensh's job away so that we can get this country back on track, one city at a time. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you all, by the way. Thank you for doing it. It's
We love
freezing
you.
out here, and I'm
God
happy
bless
that
you.
you're here. Now, to get back to the left-wing ideology, which now has an official court number on it. Definition of far left. The far left, which is also known as the extreme left, and also known as the radical left, represents a large portion of the population of the Western world. The far left have bizarre, repugnant, and harmful political beliefs that typically are based on emotions or the desire to acquire free monies and properties, and not on logic, reason, nor reality. Far left beliefs include abortion of a baby up to 1 minute before birth is acceptable.
Wow.
It is not! Euthanasia of unwanted newborn infants is acceptable. Again, it is not. Forced sterilization of human beings with disabilities, such as eugenics, is acceptable. It's not!
No.
Adult men marrying a 6-year-old girl and then consummating the marriage with the same 6-year-old girl is acceptable. It is not!
Not.
Sex between adults and children is acceptable. No, it's not!
Not.
Mass immigration with no strategic plan must be made law. No, it should not.
Of course not.
You have to have a plan. Everybody has the right to do their very best to acquire a better life for themselves. But you can't flood a country with no plan, with no
Exactly.
economic plan, with no medical plan, with no infrastructure plan. There is no plan. You can't do that. It will destroy everybody, including the people who are here and the people that are coming in. We've seen this time and time again around the world. Why are we not learning from history? Christianity is to be abolished, according to the left. Who agrees with that?
No.
Yeah, nobody.
No.
Or any
Hinduism
religion.
is to be abolished
No.
in the left-wing world. No, not on my watch. Buddhism is to be abolished, according to the left. Again, not on my watch. You know that I've been to Buddhist nations. They're the most peaceful people in the world. They are lovely people. I fell in love with the country of Myanmar when I went there. Even though I had to witness the atrocities in that country committed by the ARSA terror group, funded by the Ontario government under the watch of Bob Rae. He was on the Bangladesh side of the border fence. When I was on the Myanmarian side, he could see me. He came back and lied to the public and to the government, saying that $360 million had to go to the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army so they could continue slaughtering Buddhists and Hindus and Christians. Our tax dollars, people, are going into that. Then, I am told by the government when I get back from Myanmar that I cannot show what was on my flashcards from that war zone. What's on those flashcards? It's disgusting. I saw a 4-year-old boy who had been cut in half, across his face, across his torso, with a sword. Thanks. Thank you. His body had been left in the sun. And when his body began to dehydrate, when I looked at him, at first I did not know what I was looking at. And then when I figured out what I was looking at, I saw that his sinuses were open. I could see inside of this child's sinuses, the whole cavity of his head. And the Canadian government is funding that. So I'm told here that I cannot release that footage because I risk, it's my fault. I would be risking making the Canadian government look bad. Well, they told me if I release that movie, Rohingya lie, that I'll go to jail for 5 years. That was a threat that came from a judge.
Wow.
They didn't say anything about releasing a book, and I'm working on
No
that
freedom
now.
of speech. Censorship. They want to protect the evil.
Violence against anyone with a conservative viewpoint is acceptable. It is not. It's not even acceptable to commit violence against those with left-wing views. I believe in freedom of speech.
Yes.
Right? Freedom of speech is not an easy concept.
No censorship.
You can't spend your entire life screaming at the top of your lungs to try to out-argue someone with the exact opposite idea as you and never succeed. Too bad. Right? That person has the right to ignore you. That person has the right to walk away from the argument. That person has the right to tell you that you're wrong and make fun of you for it.
Yes.
That's what freedom of speech is. It means you have to be a mature individual. You have to appreciate the fact, the reason that this was the best country in the world from 1975 to 1993 is because we had full freedom of speech.
Yes. Not just listening to propaganda.
Political correctness.
Political correctness destroyed this country, everybody. All that term means is how do we piss off the fewest number of people and win a seat in office. That's all it means. It has nothing to do with protecting society. Does this look like a protected society to you, everybody?
Right.
No, it doesn't.
On a public street.
On a public street,
Destruction
being
of
blocked off
property
for no reason other than
owned by
stopping us
anyone with a
from
conservative
serving
viewpoint is
papers.
acceptable. No, it's not. Murder of anyone with a conservative viewpoint is acceptable. It is not. We watched Antifa and Black Lives Matter murder people in the United States in Democrat-run cities. Why?
And they never
Why?
even arrested.
That's right. They weren't arrested because the left-wing media, the fake news that Trump calls it, decided to lie and call Antifa and Black Lives Matter freedom fighters. These are the people that are good. It's good that they walk into your store and beat you up. It's good they steal everything you have. It's good they lit your neighborhood on fire. And it's good they kill your children.
Don't forget about defunding the police.
Oh yeah,
The police, yeah.
defunding the police.
That's
Who's heard that
Antifa.
argument? You guys,
Yeah.
you've heard that argument before. That ain't me, and that's not us. That's Antifa.
And
That's the
don't
left.
forget that Antifa also believes that it's good to kill police people as well.
They do. Later in my website, I explain that the leaders, the two of them, of Black Lives Matter, that's Yusra Kogali and Waleed Kogali. You guys remember when I met Waleed Kogali? He spent, 2.5 months online telling the world that he was gonna beat me up, kick my ass, break my legs. I let him rant, I let him rave. And when I saw him, he was alone, and I was alone. It was on camera, and I went over to him and said, Waleed Kogali, great to meet you. What happens? All of a sudden, he's got a fake patois accent, telling me, get away from me, get away from me. This is criminal harassment. After stating for over a year that he wants white police officers murdered, what does he do? He runs to a white police officer and says, this guy's bothering me. All right? Now, I apologize that I am using skin color in this conversation we're having, but I have to. I have to because we didn't in the 80s. Nobody cared about race, color, sexual orientation. We did not care. We were too busy having fun with spandex bike shorts and big hair. The 20-minute workout, who remembers that? We had way too much fun in the 80s. Nobody cared what you looked like back then. Come on, Canada's Wonderland opened up, right? I threw up on the Mind Buster the first time I wrote it.
Oh, I love
right?
the Mind Buster.
That was 1982. Come on, it was a great time, people. This is a beautiful place. But since the Liberal Party got into office, and since Bonnie Crombie became the mayor of Mississauga, and since John Tory became the mayor of Toronto, that's all we talk about is race, color, race, white supremacy. It's insane. And groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, they get out on stage and they say that they are victims. But victims of what? They've all got $2,000 cell phones. They've all got really nice clothes. Some of them have Gucci shoes. A lot of them have nice watches. Have a look at what these guys are wearing. Then they usually get rides in an Uber, which their parents are paying for, I'm sure. And then they go home to houses like these. Those are pretty big houses. And they play Xbox and now PS5.
They just
No.
don't know what victim is.
They have no idea. But you're right. They don't know what
Because
victimhood
when my
is.
husband and I left Soviet Union, we were stripped of citizenship of Soviet Union.
Soviet Union.
To come here as refugees. And now we
Okay.
have to see that.
Look, this lady here is talking about the old Soviet Union. Let me talk about that for a minute, if we could, please.
Shame.
You all recall in the
Shame.
1980s, what did we do here in the West? We mocked communism. We shunned it. In our schools, we talked about how horrible it was. We would show photographs, our teachers would show photographs of Soviet citizens standing in line for up to 6 or 7 hours a day in the hopes that they could buy a loaf of bread.
I was standing to buy a bread when I was 7 years old. And they were giving just one loaf of bread for one person. So I had to go back
bring my bread and come back to line. Is that what you want in Canada?
Well, we're going to get there, everybody. If we're not going to fight this fight,
We are almost there. We are almost there, and I never expected that from Doug Ford. I could expect it from Justin Trudeau, but not from Doug Ford.
Not from
Who
Doug
would
Ford,
have
you're right, because Doug
expected?
Ford sold himself. He lied to me and he lied to all of you. He said he was a true conservative.
Yeah, open
He said he
for
was going to
business.
protect Canadian values. He
Ontario
says,
open for business.
Ontario's open for business. What's the first thing he does? Closes it.
Well,
Why did we
that's
need to
monkey
change the
business.
license
Closes it.
plate? Tell me.
Yeah.
What was wrong with this? Yours to discover. It was beautiful, yours to discover
right.
Ontario. Why did we need to do open for business and what we do with it?
Well, he
My
closed
husband
everything
and I
down.
lost completely our business in 2020. We are in tourism. You
Well-
know that Toronto in 2018 and 2017, Toronto had 48 million visitors each year. And what do we have in 2020? Absolutely nothing.
We're
What
not
do
going to
tourism-
survive. You're right. We're not going to survive under
Bad for
this
our
ridiculous shutdown. The lockdown that was improperly and illegally implemented, I might add. And that's
Yes.
all my lawsuit here. Let's cover a bit more about left-wing
no
ideologies,
urgency.
everybody. The left wing thinks that everybody should be on universal income. I disagree with that. Capitalism is what made the country great. When you have the freedom to open a business and run it your own way, society will dictate the value and the merit of your business. If you open up a business and you're a racist idiot and you say that only a select type of person can come in, you're going to be ignored, shunned. You're out of business because people don't roll that way in this country. If I saw a sign saying no Asians allowed, I would mock it live on Instagram, probably give the guy the middle finger, and walk away forever. He'd never get a dime of my money. Period. All of you, I'm sure, would be the exact same way and do the exact same thing. Nobody who's with me today, nobody who's watching right now, believes that racism is a good thing. The left does. They use it as a weapon against us, yet they accuse us of doing it. Antifa is using the Joseph Goebbels playbook to make sure that the propaganda they produce is always good enough to get their point across, and their point is nothing but lies. Joseph Goebbels, everybody, was a propagandist for the Third Reich under Adolf Hitler. Antifa has read that. They use that, but they say that they hate Nazis. Why do they learn from one?
Socialism and communism never work. It gives no incentive to the people to try to excel because they can never get a raise.
Exactly.
They can never get a promotion.
Exactly.
So they don't feel like working. They just live off the government, and then the government has to force them to work. Then they're going to have the army making them go to work. This is what it's like. If communism was so great, why are people trying to leave Cuba? Why did people try to leave Russia?
Why do people leave the Soviet Union if communism was so great?
They couldn't even get out. They don't let them leave. That's what's going to happen.
Because I wanted to earn as much as I can and as much as my abilities allow me. I didn't want the government to tell me, why do you make worse than the next door neighbor? And because I didn't want snitching, and we have snitching in Canada.
We do, people, yes. So that's the deal.
Yeah, if I work harder,
I
can
want to
earn
work
more.
hard. All I want to do in this lifetime is work hard and get what's called a fair wage for it. A fair wage means one where I can pay my rent, pay my car insurance, which is ridiculous in Ontario, and feed my family. I'm not asking for much. Maybe put $100 a week away for savings for some future rainy day.
Listen, when our parents came here as immigrants, they had $2 in their pocket, and they found a way to work, even if they had to clean toilets, wash dishes, whatever they had to do. They saved money, they bought houses, they did everything. But now, the immigrants think that they can just come, live in a hotel, have everything paid for them with our taxpayers' dollars,
Well, they think that
make them
because
go
it's
to work.
happening. That's right. Now, in this same capitalist society where I say I want a fair wage, what if I decide, no, you know what? I don't just want a fair wage. Now I want to make six figures. In a universal income society, I can never get there. So any talents and efforts that I want to put forth to benefit society in some way will go to waste. And that is the problem with the universal income system. Skills, talents, and drive will be wasted. We will never benefit from those who are amazing individuals. My favorite Canadian is Dr. Banton, the gentleman who discovered that pumping insulin out of a dog and giving it to a human being would solve the problem of diabetes. How many millions of people are alive today because of that great Canadian. He would never in this lifetime have been able to do that in a communist regime.
No such thing.
All right, everybody.
Money.
Everyone's getting cold.
Money's never free.
I think everybody wants to get going here.
Not really, I'm enjoying this.
Well, head's cold. You're enjoying it?
We're all Canadian.
I think the police should stand down and let us.
We're healthy.
All right.
Papers.
No problem.
Healthy people.
We'll go just a little bit further here.
We resist.
Honk it, baby. Honk. Honk it.
Safety issue.
Make a right turn.
They're gonna have to open the gate.
He actually does have to.
He's got to turn. He's got to turn. This is going to be good. We're opening the gate. All right. Can I go in the truck?
It's not close to the salt truck. Don't let close to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all part of an illegal gathering. Please leave now. You may be charged.
We're here to serve a claim.
We are process servers.
We're not serving.
Very quiet language.
Let's walk this way. Everyone, let's let the truck in. Let's get out of the way, folks. Let the truck in.
Car's all decked out. Ed, how's it going?
We're here to serve a claim.
Oh, no, he's going that way. I thought he was turning.
I thought so too.
So we've been told, everybody, we've been told that there is some kind of great pandemic out there that's going to kill us. We've been told that we have to wear...
Mr. Johnson, I've given you ample time to talk to your people. I've given you a lot of time, actually. Please wrap it up.
Okay, so Kevin, why don't we just go for a walk? We can talk over here.
Let's walk and talk, everybody.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll leave one copy with you. I'll do that. So at least this way we can say we attempted service.
Yeah.
We were denied. Now this is not a legal service, but I'm still going to make the attempt. Will anybody take this from me?
Already been told nobody's taking
No one's taking it. Nobody. You, sir?
it. Know how to serve it.
Okay.
Serve it online.
Well, I'm going to leave one copy here for you. That's it. We are going to start to walk this way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Let's walk this way, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Copy.
Walk this way, everybody.
Officer Walker, Officer Laramie, thank you.
You guys.
We're going to walk this way. We can let the neighborhood go back to having a bit peace. Bye, guys.
Cars. Watch the cars.
We didn't go to church in Albert today, but this came up, so next week. They're having they're having service inside again now. Yeah, they're just taking the fines, which is great. That's why everyone just takes the fines.
Guys, I don't know what's going to happen after this. I mean, I might or I might not come back and try service at an off hour. Hi. Hey. We're going to go up this way. I may or may not try service again. What I will do at this point is I'm going to do my best to get a hold of the Attorney General now, to get the Attorney General to explain to me why he felt this order, this illegal order, to not be allowed to serve legally is something that he implemented. Obviously, it's under the instruction of the Doug Ford government, so we have our research to do now. We're going to call the Attorney General. We're all going to call Doug Ford's office. Talk to your MPPs. Hey, how you doing? Yes, sir. Good to meet you. Oh. Yeah, you did.
I really need you to consider my idea.
Okay, Glenn. We got to talk, okay? Right now, you said you're going to call me. Okay, no, that's right. We will, Glenn. You're not going to talk. You got my number. You call me.
You need me to.
You call me, Glenn. You got my number, brother.
I want to hear this idea.
All right, it's a good idea. All right, you guys talk. Your members of provincial parliament must respond to you. Ask your members of provincial parliament why it is that we are not allowed to serve legal documents according to the rules and the laws of the land. 2 individual members of provincial parliament and the premier, especially considering the fact that I'm not serving the premier of the province, I'm serving Doug Ford, the man. You have to start putting a lot of pressure on your members of provincial parliament, everybody. Phone calls, emails, set up appointments, record the phone calls. Make sure if the emails come in, there's something damning in them. You get them to me, you get them to Rebel News, you get them to Raging Humanist, you get them to Michael Arana. We will produce these things, we'll get them out to the public. We will tell the truth. Your members of provincial parliament are supposed to take your concerns directly to provincial parliament. We know that they don't, but we can force them to. The very fact that the police are barricading a street off tells me that even the premier of the province is afraid of we the people. When we the people exercise our rights and show that we don't believe a word you're saying. You're lying to us in every way imaginable. Here's the truth, suck it up, be a man, take the paper from me so we can leave. They won't even do that. I've proven now, over the last month and a half, bylaws do not pertain to people, they only pertain to employees of the city. And now I've proven to you that Doug Ford and all of our members of provincial parliament are terrified of us. So take your damn masks off, open up your businesses, put the no trespassing signs out that I've given away for free on my website, kevinjjohnston.ca. Learn the rules of citizens arrest. If a bylaw officer begins to threaten you, you can arrest them for intimidation. If a bylaw officer says, you must do what I say or I'm going to take money from you, that is extortion. We have the right to arrest people who are committing federal crimes. Intimidation and extortion are federal crimes, indictable offenses, what the Americans would refer to as a felony. Stand up, everybody. Canada, you cannot let people do this to you anymore. Doug Ford, with this action today, proved he's not a man.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
He's not a leader.
No,
at all.
No.
If he was a leader and a man, he would make a phone call to me because he can find my phone number. He's the government, for God's sakes. And he could say, hey, you know what, Kevin, you got a big mouth. You really do. You're a little better looking than I am. But that's okay. Let's sit down, have a cup of tea, and work this out. That is what a leader would do. But the problem with Doug Ford doing this is that he's forcing everybody out there to turn to somebody else for leadership. And I am honored that so many of you come to my website and email me saying that you want me to take over his job. Well, I'd love to, but the way our political system works is we got to put together a whole party and win every riding. That is a lot easier said than done, because we learned that Canadians right now seemingly are not interested in paying attention to politics. The example I'm going to give you is the PPC party. Maxime Bernier had the leadership of the Conservative Party stolen from him.
Yeah.
He didn't lose the election. It was stolen from him, just like the Mississauga mayor race was stolen from me. He forms a new political party. And in 8 months, he has a candidate running in every single riding. He deserves a medal for that. And Canadians looked at this new incredible party and didn't even give them a single seat. And that is also what we're fighting against here, is that Canadians have always adopted the belief that we should stick with the devil that we know. No, you shouldn't. Stop voting for politicians. People who go into political jobs are looking for a free ride. They can't handle the real world. They can't handle the private sector. The reason that they go into politics is because they can't handle the hard work and determination that is required to succeed in the private networks, the private industries. When you have someone who can't succeed in private, they can't succeed in public. They will drag your society down.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happened to us in our country, everybody.
But tell
So,
me.
hold on a second. I'm just going to say goodbye here. My name is Kevin J. Johnston, everybody. I am the next mayor of Calgary. I am looking forward to bringing my particular brand of leadership to that city, because I love that town and I love my country. And if I am the mayor there, the whole country's going to hear everything I've got to say. And you'll all move there.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where are you living?
So visit me. One second. Visit me, kevinjjohnston.ca. Download this lawsuit. Send a copy to every human being that you know, because the information in here is everything that you need to argue against those who say there is a pandemic. There isn't.
Yeah.
This argues against those who say Antifa is good. They're not. And this is the one that argues people that say masks are a benefit. They're not. The Ontario government even says so on their own website. It's in the lawsuit, everybody. I love you all. I'm going to get some hot chocolate. Goodbye.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Nice to meet you. I've seen you on rallies, but never came to say hello. So my name is Raisa.
Raisa, thank you.
Yeah, and my husband.